see the #4 team in the country, the Texas Tech Red Raiders, taking on a team from the SEC, the Auburn Tigers. For EA Sports College Football, I'm Reese Davis, joined here in the booth by a couple of legends, and yes, we do use that term loosely. David Pollack from the University of Georgia and former Gator Jesse Palmer. Guys, let's get down to the field. Well, you don't see this every day. They're lining up for an onside kick on the opening kickoff. What a way to start this game. Try to rattle them right off the bat with an onside kick, and it pays off. Looking downfield, it's Knight. Under fire. Makes the grab, it's Cobb. And that's a very productive first down play and bringing up 2nd and 3. Off the play fake. Now rolling to the left. It's complete. Finds a crease at the 20. Perhaps a touchdown-saving tackle at the 17.
And it's so hard to be on the run and make an accurate throw. It's just very tough. Very few people can do it. Again, we see the freaks and we see the highlights all the time, but that's a tough thing to do. He made it look pretty easy.
Auburn hopes to get War Eagle flying in this red zone trip. He'll do it himself. How about that play behind the line as they lose 5?
Phenomenal job by the defense that time, shutting down the option play. They knew they were going to see this in this game, and all week long in practice, they really focused on this assignment football, making sure the dive, the quarterback, the pitch, all taken away. Nowhere to go with the football that time offensively. The defense coming up with a huge negative play.
He'll be down at the 4-yard line after that terrific run. Out of the gun, looking to throw. Quarterback now breaking the field. Ball into the end zone, and it's intercepted. Past the 50, the 40. Running inside the 20. And he will roll into the end zone. Touchdown, Red Raiders!
Dude, you're just thinking, hold him to 3, make him kick a field goal, don't let him score points. Heck no, you turn it into offense. What a play. Catches the ball in the end zone. Take a knee. Take a knee. No, sir. I'm taking this thing all the way back 100 yards to the house. What a play.
Getting ready for the extra point after the first score of the game. And the PAT makes it 7-0. Kickoff unit on the field, and this defense will be called on to protect this lead. And it'll be a touchback. The ball will come out to the 25-yard line. Now here comes that Auburn offense onto the field again. Finding themselves down 7-0. They'd love to get a drive going here. Dropping back, it's Knight. Here comes the heat. And the pressure was too much. They get him at the 15.
This definitely isn't the start they drew up. I mean, you already throw a pick 6. Now you get sacked. Man, they're going to have to find a way to settle this quarterback down, get something going offensively. So far, not a lot of positives to point to.
2nd down, he'll throw it. Throws to the wideout. Intercepted. A first-half turnover can swing momentum. And they'll close in on him after a good return on the interception.
And that's the problem when you're living in second and long situations. Sometimes the quarterbacks feel like they just got to go get it all back in one throw. That's what he was trying to do on that one. He forced it into traffic, and the defense made him pay, coming up with a huge interception.
They pull him down at the 17 after a pickup of 3.
Man, it's really hard to control the running game if you don't control the line of scrimmage. And how about the defensive line doing a great job attacking those guys up front, not opening up lanes to run through. Nice job just nullifying that run altogether.
Quarterback making checks. To the air on second down. Buys a little time. Picks up the first down and gets down to avoid contact. The Red Raiders racing to the line in the hurry-up. They'll run it on first and goal. And he was fortunate not to lose yardage on that play, able to wedge it back to the line of scrimmage. After getting nothing, it's second and goal from the 6. Back to pass. Lets it fly. Touchdown, Red Raiders! Quick strike through the air for the score.
One of the areas they really focused on with this receiver in the offseason was we need you to make more plays for us in the end zone. When we're taking shots, we need you to be able to step up and make tough catches. And David, what a grab right there.
And I think a lot of that has to do with trusting your guy, knowing where he's going to be, knowing when he's going to sit down, when he's not. So being on the same page, and then having a guy that can go get him. Just when the ball is near him, he's going to make the play, just like he did right there for 6 points.
And he makes the extra point. They're getting set to kick it away, and that last score took a little oomph out of this crowd. And he'll just take a knee, and this drive will start at the 25. They'll put this one in play. First snap of the drive from the 25. Welcome to Vaught-Hemingway Stadium, home of the Ole Miss Rebels. As we'll see the number 4 team in the country, the Texas Tech Red Raiders, taking on the 6th-ranked team in the land, the Ole Miss Rebels. For EA Sports College Football, I'm Reese Davis, David Pollack and Jesse Palmer with me. Guys, it's time to get it going. And the Rebels will get us started with the opening kickoff. On the move from inside his 5. Really disciplined job by the coverage unit to get down there and make the stop at the 19. Changing the play. Dropping back, it's Morton. Got it in the middle, it's Eakin.
And quarterback dropping back, understanding. I'm getting zone coverage. All I got to do is be a little bit patient, manipulate that defense a little bit. My wide receiver runs that drag, and I get the first down.
And the Red Raiders with myriad options after that big pickup on first down. Back to the ground game on the left. And this one will be stopped for no gain.
off. That's a tackle for loss.
The Land Sharks circling. Crowd getting this defense whipped up on third down. From the gun, wants to pass. Grab near the sticks. It's Douglas. And he'll go down, but he has enough for the first down. The Red Raiders want to pick up the tempo. Third down, a lot of times it comes down to not necessarily who's the most open, who do you trust the most?
Yeah, it's not.
There he goes. He's pushed out of bounds inside the 40 at the 38, and these guys are on the move. And the Red Raiders are marching down the field. Wants to throw on first down. The quick out. All the way down to the 27-yard line before they get him out of bounds, and this offense is threatening.
And as soon as the receiver caught the ball, you saw the quarterback start communicating to his teammates what the next play was going to be because they're now changing the tempo and going fast.
He was able to squirt free and pick up just a few on that one. Looking to fire. Throws for the tight end. Caught over the middle. It's Carter.
Offenses love the explosive plays through the air, pushing the ball down the field. And look at this. Sometimes it creates some momentum, and you want to capitalize. So you go get on the ball and get ready to...
Touchdown, Red Raiders! They wanted to finish, and that they did on that possession. You want to talk about a great way to start the game and set the tone early.
It's so nice to have a quarterback just get himself into the game and get himself established. You make a couple throws, you lead your offense down the field, you score right off the bat. Could not have been a better start for that QB.
And they add the extra point to finish the drive. Kickoff unit on the field, and this defense will be called on to protect this lead. Fielded in the end zone. It's Diggs. He was looking for some running room, but not much to be found as he stopped at the 18. Takes the handoff. It's Diggs. Got the first down and more. Moves it out to the 34-yard line. A nice 15-yard gain on that one. Lining up from the 34 on first down. Use the play fake. Now to throw. Bring in the heat. He's going to run it. He'll be stopped and forced out of bounds. Mark it at the 47-yard line, and this offense is going to work. They've come out with answers on this possession, and now another first down. He's looking deep. Hits him inside the 20, still going. They get him corralled, but not until he's in the red zone. They'll mark it at the 14. The Rebels will have it 1st and 10. He'll pull it on the read. He's shoved out of bounds right at the 6-yard line as they were able to at least keep him out of the end zone. It'll be 2nd down, and remember, they can pick up a first without scoring. They'll go to the air on 2nd and short. Fires into the end zone. Touchdown, Rebels! Fired in from the red zone for the score. Extra point here will tie the game. And he added the extra point. A very efficient 5-play scoring drive. Kickoff unit is out there again, and this crowd is feeling themselves after that last drive. Here's the return from inside his 10. He was looking for some running room, but not much to be found as he stopped at the 18. A little bit backed up to start this drive from their own 18-yard line. Back to pass, it's Morton. And it's incomplete. If you're going to take a hit like that, you might as well hang on to the ball.
Well, this guy shot out of the cannon. 2 catches on the opening drive, and finally going back to him again. This time, they don't hook up, but he's a guy guy that needs to touch the football often, and I think this offense has to keep trying to find ways to get him involved.
Couldn't connect on first down, now back to the air. That's caught. It's Douglas. And the defense settled in to stop that one for a short gain. The Red Raiders in the hurry up. Quarterback making adjustments. Third and long, and he'll try to throw for it. Makes the grab. It's Eakin. Really good job to pick up a chunk of yardage and get it out to the 39-yard line. Really want to try to pick up at least half of the yardage needed on 1st and 10. Wants to go up top on first down. Grabbed in the middle. It's Virgil. And they'll move the chains, and a good way to wrap up the first quarter. We played one, and we are right back where we started, all tied up after the first period as we take a look at the stats. We've got a good one going here, and looking forward to keep those vibes rolling here in the second. So they'll go back to work after changing ends of the field. To the air on first down. Still looking, on the move. It's a fumble. Scoops it up, still a live ball.
Well, the offense is able to avoid disaster right there. Problem is they fumbled it, but thankfully they were able to jump back on and not have a turnover.
To the air, it's Morton. Unloads to the wideout. He put it out there for him, and the senior gave him a chance, but they couldn't make the connection.
The offense just has not been able to find a way to get their rhythm going here in the first half. We just haven't seen it in the passing game. That was a really good example of it again. If they're going to score more points in the second half, they've got to make some adjustments here at halftime.
A big third down coming, and hotty-toddy, gosh almighty, this crowd is ready. Fires to the wideout. It's picked off, and they ruin the drive with a turnover. Not much of a chance on the return, but they'll have the ball at the 33.
Timing has to be so good. When you're throwing it as zone defense over the middle of the field, the ball's got to come out specifically on time because these windows close really quickly. Ball there thrown a little bit late. As a result, it's an INT.
You want to make sure to maximize those types of runs, and he gets it out to the 41. And the Rebels can play this second down a lot of ways with just a few yards to go. And the defense holds firm. No pickup at all on that play. Lining up, trying to convert this third and short from the 40. And the incomplete pass will bring up fourth down.
Well, after giving up that touchdown on the opening drive, they had a little bit of a come to Jesus with their defensive coordinator on the sideline. I don't know what he said, but he, I think, just invoked the fear of God into this defense because this 3-and-out has been sensational, dominant. This is the way they've got to play moving forward.
They thought they had a good plan, but it did not work. Let's see if they can get something going here late in the half. They think there's room to run to the right here.
The big fella in the middle, man. Those defensive tackles, they go such a long way in deciding and really stopping the other team's run game. Just forcing contact with those guards and those centers, owning the line of scrimmage, and getting running.
Turning it on! All the way down to the 25-yard line. They move the sticks. It's first down. They won't have time to run another play, and we will take it to the 2-minute timeout. From the 25-yard line, it's 1st and 10. Looking for space. It's Sticky. They pick up half of it. It'll be 2nd and 5. And the Red Raiders look to do some damage in the red zone. Looking to throw, it's Morton. Got out of trouble and throws. Snagged in the middle. It's Eakin.
If you're trying to throw these curl routes against zone coverage, you got to have great time. Nice job there by the quarterback, understanding where he wanted to go with it, but also the conviction. Did you see the arm talent on that throw?
He'll go to the sneak.
And David, on 3rd and inches right there, that's often a decision the quarterback predetermines. Who's my best guard? That's the guy I'm going to try to get behind.
And I know that defensively, too, but I'm just trying to dive and create a pile, but it's so hard to stop that play. That's why you see it ran so successfully.
Looking to throw on 1st down. Catch in the middle, it's Carter. They stop him just a link or two short of the first, and man, what they can do on 2nd down here.
And you see tight end matchups all over the field all the time. Now, it used to just be in the red zone. Now, you just find the big fella, you put him in the slot, try to give him the ball as much as possible because you know he can make big plays.
Nice play call, QB sneak, yet another 1st down. And this offense, they've been on the field for some time now. They're helping their defense out, giving them some wins so that when they get back on the field, they'll be ready to play with their hair on fire.
Sneaking his way, tunneling and burrowing into the line. Time dwindling away as they try to put points on the board right before the half. Quarterback sneak looking for just a sliver of daylight. Sneak gets it done.
These close games a lot of times come down to who executes late in the ball game. That was a late game situation. Nice execution, and now they got the lead going into the half, and they have all the momentum.
And the PAT gives them a 14-7 lead. They're coming out to tee it up for the kickoff, and that last score was a real buzzkill for this crowd. Coming out with it, it's Diggs. Slips through the line. Oh, what vision. And there he goes. They won't get him. It's a touchdown. That dude ought to have a lethal sticker on his helmet. Anytime he touches it, it can be a score. He touched it, and it was.
No doubt. Unbelievable speed. And if you're back deep for a kickoff, obviously you've got those wheels. But to be able to get through, and guess what? No flags. You know it's going to count. Great job by the special teams being special.
And they did tack on that extra point with no problem. The Red Raiders will try to kick this one deep to get things underway in the second half. He'll bring it out. It's Diggs. He was hoping for something a little more dynamic, but they get him on the ground at the 20. Ole Miss ready to send the offense onto the field. First drive of the second half, always fun to watch. You see what type of tweaks were made at the half, especially when you're locked up in a ball game like this one.
Yeah, and it's been a good game. I mean, it's been a little bit of back and forth and a feeling out process. And now once you get in the second half, who's going to get aggressive, Palmer? Who's going to take some shots, try to make some plays, and really go for it?
Yeah, it's interesting. I think as play callers right now, you learn a lot about these coaching staffs with respect to who does make the best adjustments. There's a lot of coaches that believe we're just going to be who we are. We're going to keep doing what we do. We're just going to do it better. But then there are others that tweak things a little bit on offense and on defense. We're going to find out here.
Rush is on him, and the pressure gets there, and down he goes at the 18.
Sometimes you beat your guy and you get sacked so clean, and sometimes, like on this play, the DBs do a great job covering, make the QB hold the football, and then the rush gets home.
Unloads it downfield. Oh, he had it. The deep ball was there, and it just trickled through his fingers. And they are stopped on fourth down. That decision will be questioned. Texas Tech has it back, and the Red Raider offense on its way to the field. pulls it and fires to the left. And into the end zone. Huge gain before he goes out of bounds, and now they've got it 1st and goal.
Man, this guy is so dynamic, and that's why you want to try to get him the ball as many ways as you can. That time, it's a screen throw. He had some nice blocks downfield, but with his speed and elusive running ability, this dude is dangerous. Well, they try to go quarterback sneak, and I know to a lot of people that's a play we all take for granted, like it always works. Quarterback sneaks are designed.
Touchdown, Red Raiders! And that one will give them the lead.
This is like having an extra running back in your backfield. This quarterback is magic. When he decides to keep the football, he can make people look absolutely silly. He shows you on that play.
And with the extra point, the score is now 21-14. Kickoff unit on the field, and this defense will be called on to protect this lead. Fielded in the end zone, it's Ray. Gets it out to the 20, about 5 yards short of where he'd be if he'd just taken a knee in the end zone. The Ole Miss offense ready to go back to work. They'll try to answer that last score with one of their own, a chance here to tie the game with a touchdown drive. Takes the handoff, it's Lacy. Into the pile, maybe got one. He stopped at the 21. He sends 2 wideouts right, 2 to the left on 2nd and 9. Wants to go up top. Pressure coming. Hit as he throws. Just a Barishnikov-like move on the sideline to tap that toe and get the 1st down. New set of downs after the completion. Off the play fake on 1st down. Can't make the grab. Quarterback just missed him a little bit. They're dealing with a 2nd and long. Back to pass. Moving away from pressure. On the move to the right and looking for a big one. He's got it. And he's out of bounds after the nice gain, and maybe that is finally the spark to get this passing game going. The play action fake. Here's a heat. Rolling to the right, trying to make something happen. And he has a solid gain on the play before sliding.
And he showed you in 2 plays why this defense has been up late at night. Like thinking about having to guard, he makes you defend the back end, throwing the football, but then has the ability to pull it down and chew up yards with his legs. He makes you cover the whole field, run and pass. Infuriating to deal with as a defense.
They'll try to pick up the 1st through the air. Steps away. Rolling, throwing, looking right.
On that 3rd down, they took a shot in the end zone, just couldn't connect. QB and receiver not on the same page, and now it's decision time if you're the head coach on 4th.
Trying to keep the drive alive. They bring him down, but not before he's able to pick up the 1st down. The Rebels pounded the rock to move the sticks, now back to work. Looking to throw on 1st down. Makes the grab. There to make the tackle, and with that, we'll head to the 4th quarter. That's the end of the period, and it's Texas Tech holding the lead. They're sitting in a strong position here with the lead. Let's take a look at our game summary. Here comes the 4th. Time to see who steps up, who makes the winning plays to take home that W. So 1st down will open up the final period. Under fire. They get enough rush, and it pays off. The sack at the 20. And the Rebels have put themselves in dire straits after that last play. It's 2nd and a mile. Looking for room. It's Lacy. Got some room, headed to the goal line. And he'll race it to the house. Touchdown, Ole Miss.
And we know football gets harder when you start to get in the red zone and the field shrinks. Who needs that? Break the long touchdown run. Nice job by the back. Seeing the hole, explode through, getting a long touchdown.
And no problem on that extra point, and we have a tie ball game here in the 4th. They're ready to kick it away, and this crowd is buzzing after that last score. From inside the 10-yard line, he'll bring it back. Not a lot of space to be found. Good hustle by the coverage team, and they stop him at the 21. Texas Tech ready to send the offense back onto the field. They had to stand by and watch that scoring march, and now it's up to them to find a way to answer it. Wants to throw. It's Morton. Pulls it in. It's Douglas. Out across the 30, steps out of bounds at the 31-yard line as they try to put something together.
Well, you can tell those two have been practicing the out route all off-season long. They look like they could have completed that in their sleep.
He'll wedge it in there on the quarterback sneak. They make the stop, but he'll have enough yardage for a first down. Here's this offense with a fresh set of downs. Looking downfield on first down. Quick completion on the out route. Breaks into the open. They'll get him on the ground at the 46, and it'll be a first down.
Nice job there. Good timing between the QB and the wide receiver executing that out route.
Wants to throw on first down. He let that thing fly quickly, but he couldn't make the connection.
Yeah, I don't know if the quarterback got confused on first down. He might have thought the defense was going to be in man coverage that time, but they were in zone. They fooled him and just didn't seem like he had his eyes in the right place, was forcing that ball to his intended target. The window way too small. The guy was not open, so that didn't have that chance to be complete.
Going to swing it on second down. With the catch, it's Douglas. Oh, the sweet spin, and he's free. Really nice pickup on that one as they get it to the 36. It'll be first down.
Yeah, and he runs a quick out route, and this is a timing route. Quarterback has to trust him, throw him the football. You can tell they've thrown this a time or two. Nice job, nice success.
And the Red Raiders will snap it on 1st and 10. The clock has stopped for the timeout, and we have reached the final 2 minutes in this one. They've got it at the 36 on 1st and 10. Making side adjustments here. Looking to throw, it's Morton. Quickly complete. He goes out of bounds across the 25, mark it at the 24, and this defense, its head is spinning. They're down to the 25 on 1st and 10. Wants to throw again. Throws to the wideout. Working that left side. He'll be stopped just short of the end zone, but they'll have it 1st and goal.
I mean, what a great route by the wide receiver. You talk about leaving everybody in the dust. I mean, he left everybody behind him, runs the corner route, and to be honest, I mean, there is nobody stopping him.
This offense right on the doorstep. They can grab the lead late as time continues to wind down. The quarterback sneak, looking to eke out a few yards. Looking for just one more yard. It's 2nd and goal. Quarterback sneak. Touchdown, Red Raiders! And inside a minute to go, and they've got the lead.
Man, what a great job with the execution in a moment where you had to have it. You score the touchdown, you take the lead. There's less than a minute to go in this game. All your defense has to do now is get a stop, and you win.
And they did tack on that extra point without any adventure. The kickoff unit is out there, and boy, did that last drive quiet this crowd. And he takes this from inside the 5. Nice job by the kickoff team. Everybody stayed in their lanes, and they'll stop him at the 16. A lot of work to do as this drive will start from the 16-yard line. Wants to go up top on first down. Oh, they're after him. Makes the catch. It's Lacy. Now they've got a little room to work with. They're out to the 28 with a first down. Trying to get everybody set with the clock still running. To the air on first down. The sure hands. It's Lacy. He gets those chains moving, gets it out to the 42-yard line. The Rebels want to move quickly. Defense showing plenty of pre-snap movement of their own. Caught in the backfield. It's Lacy. And look, this guy has some serious moves, and he tried all of them and still didn't get loose. Offense will use a timeout with 28 ticks remaining. Got to get everybody lined up quickly. Time winding away, and they've got to push the ball down the field. Back to throw, and he needs to make a play. Moves away as he feels pressure. Trying to escape and get it himself. And he'll get out of bounds. It's a first down there in plus territory, and now threatening to get the score. Here's this offense with a fresh set of downs. Looking to throw on first down. He wants to take the top off. And he's got it inside the 20. The offense gets the timeout. 12 ticks left on the clock.
Well, Reese, you and I were talking about this before the game. How is this defense going to be able to deal with all the speed they have offensively? You saw them just rip off a big play.
And, Jesse, now their head's spinning just a little bit. Give up a big chunk play, and it's right back at them. And the completion to the sideline, a solid pickup, but not enough for the first down. Touchdown, Rebels! Nice catch and good work afterwards to get it into the end zone.
And they desperately needed that touchdown. Now it's miracle time. We got to kick this onside kick and somehow find a way to boot a long field goal and maybe win this thing at the buzzer. I get it. No guts, no glory, but you didn't execute. You got to have a play dialed in there. Going for 2, going for the win. Now down by 1, and you need some serious luck.
An unforced error there. They don't get the snap off in time. That is a completely avoidable penalty. The quarterback just went into brain lock and lost track of the play clock. And it looks as if the offense will just take a knee. How much fun was that? I mean, you just dream of having games like that every time you go into the booth. I'll watch those two teams play anytime.
Yeah, that's what's fun about good teams. Really good teams squaring off. Like, there wasn't a lot of difference between these two squads. We could watch these every week. Love calling these games because they're competitive. Great talent on the field. Palmer, unfortunately, somebody had to lose.
Yeah, and the higher-ranked team was ranked higher for a reason. At the end of the day, when it came down to it, they made the biggest plays in the most critical moments. Both of these teams have tremendous playmakers, and they're both going to make a lot of noise late in the college football season, but give the higher-ranked team tons of credit. They earned this one.
Thanks so much for spending some time with us. For David Pollack and Jesse Palmer, I'm Reese Davis, and this has been another presentation of EA Sports College Football.